بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم لا سهلا إلا ما جعلته سهلا وأنت تجعل الحزن إذا شئت سهلا ربي زدني علما اللهم انفعني بما علمتني وعلمني ما ينفعني ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم. We start in the name of Allah. We ask that He makes learning the Quran easy for us. We ask that He increases in our knowledge, and we ask that the knowledge He grants us, He makes it beneficial and useful knowledge. And we ask that He accepts the small efforts we are making in His path. Ameen. Yesterday we excuse me. Yesterday we went through the last two of the stretch letters. We went through the kasra before ya sakin, and we went through the dhamma before wa sakin, and that completes our little lesson on the stretch letters. So hopefully, inshallah, everyone has got these three little phrases memorized. Fatha before alif, kasra before ya sakin, dhamma before waw sakin. Hopefully, inshallah, everyone's got this memorized. If you haven't got this memorized, make sure you do memorize it tonight, inshallah. Just have a look over it. Look over it, read it a few times. It's important just to get it down, memorize. That way, it's gonna help you, inshallah, to recognize it when you do read, inshallah. So do make sure that you spend some time to memorize this, inshallah. Now, with regards to a few things to keep in mind, we mentioned that the fatha before alif, this was a few days ago, we mentioned that it can look like a little line on top of the letter, kind of like a standing fatha. And then yesterday we mentioned that the kasra before ya sakin can also look like a little line underneath the letter, like this, so like a standing fatha, a standing kasra, sorry, and that would be underneath the letter, and it will make the same sound as the kasra before ya sakin, so a stretched kasra. And the dhamma before waw sakin can appear like an upside down dhamma. Okay, and again, this will just stretch the sound of be a stretched dhamma sound. It'll make the same sound as a dhamma before waw sakin. It will be ooh. Okay, so those three signs, it's important to just make sure that you are familiar with them because they can appear. And if you see them, inshallah, just note that they are basically the same as these three things over here. We also mentioned, well, I've mentioned it twice, but we mentioned that when we are identifying the stretch letters, we mark it with a little line underneath. So this is now part of our little key that we're using to identify the various rules of Tajweed. So heavy letters will be a circle, joined letters will be a line like that, and then just extend it from that. The qalqala, any joined letters that are qalqala, you'll put Q underneath, and stretch letters will be a line underneath. Okay, so it's important to make sure that you are using this key. Again, new rules in the future, there'll be new things added to this. Now, the reason why we use the key, again, just a little reminder, is to avoid errors, to avoid making mistakes, or if you do make a mistake, to make sure that you correct it yourself. It'll be easier for yourself to identify a mistake if you are using the key. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly go to an example over here. So if we look at this one, okay, so just really quickly, we have a joined letter, the ya joined to the kha. The kha is heavy, the sad is heavy, and the fa is a fatha before alif. This will be a stretched letter. So when we're reading this word, we want to read it like this: yakhsi, yakhsi, fa, yakhsifani, yakhsifani. Now, the reason why we mark the heavy letters, even if you are very comfortable with them, like you're comfortable with identifying them, the reason why you still need to mark it is to avoid mistakes with regards to the other letters. Okay, very, very easy. It's very, very easy to turn a light letter heavy. For example, it's very, very easy to say yakhsifani, yakhsifani. In that case, in that time, what I did was I made the ya heavy. I said yoh. when it should be yakh, yakh. Very subtle difference, very, very subtle difference. But someone who has learned Tajweed will be able to identify the difference. So it's important to be aware of this so that you can avoid making that mistake. And the reason why we identified the stretch letters, like even if it's very clear to you which one is a stretch letter, you might like easily see from these two letters that the fa is the stretched one, obviously. Or over here, you might easily just recognize that, okay, yeah, this fa is stretched. Why do I need it? But the reason is to avoid stretching the other letters. Okay, so for example, it's very, very easy for someone to say yakhsifani, yakhsifani. Okay, in that case, at that time I stretched the swad, and that's incorrect. So this is why we mark it. So not just to read whatever we mark correctly, but to avoid mistakes on the other letters. Okay, and it might sound like a little bit over the top, but trust me, it's very, very common, and inshallah, it's something that with practice you'll be able to avoid making these kind of mistakes. Again, you might still make these mistakes even though you mark it, but if you do make the mistakes, if it's marked, you're more likely to catch it yourself and then fix it yourself. And that's inshallah the goal. And through constant practice, through a long period of time, inshallah, you'll be able to avoid making these kind of mistakes. And the reason why they happen is simply because you might not be used to the letters, you might not be used to pronouncing particular letters, or you might just not be used to reading Arabic as a whole. So because of that, your brain is taking time to just identify everything, and because of that, you're accidentally just stretching one or two letters. So this is why it's important to make sure that you do the markings. So that was just a quick reminder. A few other things we mentioned yesterday. We mentioned that with this particular script in this booklet, whenever there's a rule, the sakin is not there. So you'll see in a later lesson as well, inshallah, when we're learning about a few of the rules, the sakin is missing whenever there's a particular rule. Now, this is just with this particular Arabic script. The script that we'll be using when we come onto Quran, I will quickly just show you. So let me just open this. Let me just go to any random surah. Okay, so this is this when we come onto Quran, this is the kind of script that we'll be using. Okay, it looks the exact same. So if you just compare the two, they do look the same. They don't look any different, like in terms of how the letters appear. The letters will appear the same, they'll be joined the same, it looks the same, but the only difference is in this script, every single sign is there. Every single sign that matters that you need to see is going to be there. For example, if you look on this script over here, the kasra before ya sakin and dhamma before wa sakin, the sakins are not there. But if you look at this one, they are there. So if you look at this one, there's a dhamma before waw sakin here, one here. So you won't need to worry about, is something there or not. Okay. When we come on to the last week of the course, when we come on to reading the Quran, you won't need to worry about it, inshallah. So that's just something that we also mentioned yesterday. Now, the plan for this lesson, inshallah, is it's going to be quite a relaxed lesson and not too difficult, the content, inshallah. So hopefully, inshallah, it'll be a nice, relaxed lesson, a nice end of the week. So, inshallah, today, the plan is to go through the double vowels, okay? So the tanween, they are known as the tanween. So if you look at it, it's called tanween. Now, what I would like you to do if you are making notes is just write down the word tanween, and then next to it, write down double vowels, okay? It's important because when we come on to next week, we are going to be learning a lot of rules related to the tanween. So it's important to become familiar with this word so that whenever I say tanween, you actually know what I'm talking about. Otherwise, if you don't learn it, then when I say tanween, you're gonna be like, what's he talking about? He's talking, some alien language right now. So make sure you do learn this word tanween, because I'm gonna mention it a lot next week, inshallah. So just something to make note of. So the tanween, as it says over here, are double vowels. Okay, so we know that the vowels are fatha, kasra, and dhamma. Okay, so those are the vowels. Well, the tanween are basically double vowels. So they look like this. So you'll have two fathas like this, or two kasras like this, or two dhammas like this. Okay. So in Arabic, you call it fathatain, kasratain, and dhammatain. So tain basically means two. So that's basically where the name comes from. Tain means two. So fathatain, kasratain, dhammatain is basically two of each. Okay. Now, what we'll be going over today is the sounds that these double vowels make, inshallah. Okay. Now, the tanween, any letter with a tanween it'll be making the same sound as the normal vowel, but all you're going to do is put an N sound at the end of it. Okay. So if you imagine a fatha will make an A sound. So if I just do a little ba over here, okay. So a ba with a fatha, this will be pronounced as ba. Okay, it'll be pronounced ba. But if I do a ba with a fathatain, with a tanween, with a double vowel, then this will be pronounced with an N sound at the end of it. So we'll still say ba, but we're going to put an N sound at the end. We're going to say ban, ban, ban. Okay. If it was kasratain, okay. So a ba with a kasra is simply B. Okay. A ba with a kasra is B. But a ba with a kasratain, two kasras, the double vowel, this is going to be bin, bin, bin. And if we did one with the dhamma, so a ba with a dhamma is, this sound it will make is boo. Okay, nice and simple. Let me just remove these. Whereas a ba with a dhammatain, so two of them. So if I just quickly draw it like this will be bun, bun. Okay, so that's the basic premise of the double vowels. You're simply putting an N sound at the end of the vowel. Okay, so I hope that kind of makes sense. You're just putting an N sound. So over here it says like a noon sakin. Okay, but I prefer to just keep things a bit more simple, and I'm just going to say N sound, but they basically mean the same thing. A noon sakin is an N sound. So that's basically the tanween. You're gonna just read the vowel, whether it's fatha, kasra, or dhamma. If it's a double fatha, then you're gonna read ban or an rather. And if it's a double kasra, you're gonna read in. And if it's a double dhamma, you're going to read un. Okay. Now we'll come on to something at the end, but the tanween, you'll only see them at the end of words. Okay, so if we just go quickly to the examples, you'll see that the tanween, they only appear at the end of a word. Okay, so you'll never see them at the beginning or middle of a word. You'll only see them at the end of a word. Now what we'll do is we'll go through the letters. We'll read each one with the tanween, inshallah, and then inshallah we'll do some practice. So just at the moment, how is everyone feeling with what I've mentioned so far with regards to the tanween? Does it kind of make sense? Do you have any questions at all? A one if you're feeling okay, ready to practice. A five if you've got any questions at all. So again, do make sure you write down this word tanween and learn it, because inshallah next week we will be going through rules related to the tanween. So it's important to just be very, very familiar with this word. Okay, so we'll go through these letters inshallah, and we'll just read them with the tanween. So the first one, the hamza, is going to be an. So with the fathatain, it's going to be an, an. In, with the kasratain, it's in, in. And with the dhammatain, it's un, un, un. Okay, so an, in, un. Okay, try to keep it as similar to the vowel sound as possible. So try to make it as sound like a e as possible and as much like a u as possible. So in, un, that's going to give it the best sound. Okay, if you make it sound like in and un, it's going to sound the best. So the tanween with the ba, ban, 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 bin, 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 bun, bun, bun. Moving on to the letter ta, tan, 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 tin, 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 tun, tun, tun. And now we come on to this letter here. So this letter is also ta. Okay, they are both the same letter, but the reason why the ta has two different ways it can look like is there's a rule in the future, inshallah, we'll learn it. But for now, don't worry about it. It's a rule for a future lesson. But for now, don't worry about it. That's gonna come much later, probably in the last week. So this letter is also ta, and it will make the exact same this ta. So this is going to be tan, tin, tun. Okay. So again, don't worry about this. It's going to be a rule for the last week of class, inshallah. Moving on to the letter tha, than, than, thin, thin, thun, thun. Okay. The letter jim. This is going to be jan, jan, jin, jin, jun, jun. Okay. The letter ha, again, from the middle of the throat, as clearly, as strong as you can. Han, 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 hin, 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 hun, hun, hun. Okay. The letter kha, it's a heavy letter, so we're going to keep it heavy every time we say it. Keep in mind that when we have it with the kasra, it will still be heavy, but we won't make it round. We won't make it round. But with these two, we will. So khon, 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 khin, khin, khin. Again, it won't be round over here. Khun, khun, khun. Okay. The letter dal, dan, dan, din, din, dun, dun. The letter dal, again, top teeth, no Z sound. Make sure you're touching just the tip of the top teeth. Then, 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 Thin, thin, dhun, dhun, dhun. Keep the contact between your tongue and your top teeth as light as possible. The reason why is the letter dha, that one's going to be really heavy. So we want to make them both clear and distinct from each other. So to make it distinct and different, we'll make the dal as light as possible, the contact, and with the dha, we'll make it as heavy as possible. The letter ra, hopefully, inshallah, everyone is quite familiar with the rules of the ra. The one with the fatha will be heavy, and the one with the dhamma will be heavy, and the one with the kasra will be light. So that's just a rule of the ra, and it will apply with the tanween as well. So these two will be heavy, and this one will be light. So ron, 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 rin, 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 run, run, run. Okay. That is za, zan, zan, zin, zin, zun, zun. The letter sin, san, san, sin, sin, sun, sun. The letter shin, shan, shan, shin, shin, shun, shun. How's everyone feeling on this first page? Any letters you'd like me to repeat? One, if you're good. If there's any letters you'd like me to repeat, just let me know.
Just a quick question, brother.
Yep.
You know, when we had fatha before alif,
Yep.
we stretched the letter.
Yep.
But when we've got fatha ain, we don't stretch it.
No, we don't stretch it.
It just becomes a normal.
I'm glad you brought that up, actually. But jazakallah khair. So I'll just go through this now. So if you look carefully, on the fathatines, a lot of them, most if not all, with the exception of this ta here, they have a little alif next to the letter. So if you look carefully, it does look like it would be stretched because it's like a fatha before alif. Now this is again to do with the rule that we will learn later on in the course, inshallah. Why does it appear like this? Inshallah, we'll learn it in the last week of the course when we get into Quran. But for now, don't worry about it. For now, just know that it will not be stretched. We will not stretch this. If it's a fatha, if it's a double fatha, if there's two fathas, then you will not stretch it. It's not a fatha before alif, it's a fathatain, so it will not be stretched. But if it was a fatha, then it would be stretched. Jazakallah khair. I'm really, really glad that you actually brought that up. But yeah, inshallah, it's a rule for later on. Yeah. So carrying on, just zoom in a bit. So the letter sad, again, heavy letter. So lots and lots of pressure on the bottom teeth. Raise the back end of your tongue. Son, 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 son. Really make it nice and strong, yeah? Swin, 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 sun, sun, sun. Brother Shahriar, did you have a question?
Yeah, I did, brother. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
I just wanted to ask that, you know, with Saad,
yep.
When do you raise the back end of your tongue from the start, or is it towards the end of the sound you start raising it? So you start with the bottom two teeth, and then towards the end of the sound you raise it, or not?
So when you put your tongue, good question. When you put your tongue on the bottom two teeth, as you put pressure on it, that's the point where you'll raise the back end of your tongue. So as you're putting pressure on the teeth, you raise the back end of your tongue. So the back end should be raised when you release from the teeth to make the sound of the sad. So if I just do a quick diagram, so for the letter sad, you have your bottom teeth like this and your top teeth like this, and then your tongue will be basically touching this part, right?
Yes.
And you'll be putting lots of pressure there. Then what you'll do is you'll just raise the back end as you're putting pressure there, and then you'll release it, and then that's going to give you the correct sound of the sad. So I hope that makes sense. It is again quite a tricky thing.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Yeah.
Quite a tricky thing to do, but inshallah with practice. Inshallah with practice.
Jazakallah, thank you.
So carrying on. So letter sad, sun, swin, sun. The letter dad, and brother, that's going to be for all of the heavy letters. So for all of the heavy letters, you will put, you'll raise the back end of your tongue as you're making the sound. So for the letter dad, side of the tongue touching the side of the back teeth. Bon, 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 boin, 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 bun, bun, bun. Okay. The letter ta, again heavy letter. Tip of the tongue touching between the gums and the top two teeth. Bon, 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 boin, 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 bun, bun, bun. The letter dha. Again, lots of pressure. Tip of the tongue touching the tip of the top two teeth only, not the bottom teeth, the top teeth only. So again, the same place as dal, but you're going to put lots of pressure there. Von, 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 win, 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 wun, wun, wun. The letter ain, middle of the throat. So try and make it nice and clear. Run, run, run. Again, we overemphasize the sound when we practice. I don't read my ains that strong when I'm reading Quran. I don't go, like Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. I don't do it like that. I just say Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, like that. But when you overemphasize the sound as you practice, it makes it a lot easier to just make the sound naturally. So make sure that when you practice these difficult heavy letters or any difficult letter at all, that you're overemphasizing as much as you can, because then when it comes to reading in words and in the Quran, it's going to be much, much more easier, inshallah. Run, 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 rin, 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 run, run, run. The letter ghain, from the top of the throat, this sound will come from. So same place as kha, ghon, 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 ghin, 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 ghun, ghun, ghun. Okay. The letter fa, fan, fan, fin, fin, fun, fun. The letter qaf, heavy letter. Okay. Qon, 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 qon. Make it nice and strong. Qon, qin, 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 qun, qun, qun. Now, just a note for qaf and ghain. When they have the kasra, the double kasra, you won't make them round. So we'll still call it a heavy letter, but it's the same as the kha, where whenever it's a kasra, it will not be round. So you won't say khuin or ghin or quin. We just keep it nice and flat. Ghin, qin. Whereas with the sad, bad, ba, and dha, we made it round. So we said sin, ضين, طين, ضين. Whereas with the ghain and qaf and khaf, of course, as well, is ghin, qin. That roundness is kind of gone. Yeah. So carrying on, the letter kaf, kan, kin, kin, kun, kun. The letter lam, lan, lan, lin, lin, lun, lun. The letter mim, man, man, min, min, mun, mun. The letter nun, nan, nan, nin, nin, nun, nun. The letter ha, han. Again, nice and soft. Han, hin, hin, hun, hun. The letter waw, wan, 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 win, 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 wun, wun, wun. And lastly, the letter ya, yan, yan, yin, yin, yun, yun. So those are the letters with the tanween. So hopefully, inshallah, everyone has a nice understanding of what the tanween are now and how each one sounds. Again, like I mentioned multiple times, that the main thing with tajweed is pronunciation of the letters. Especially for us who are non-Arabs, it's very, very difficult for us to pronounce certain letters because we aren't native to that language. So we have to make sure that we put the required effort to learn how to read these letters properly, because the Quran is in that language. So if you are able to get the pronunciation of each letter correct, then hopefully inshallah your Quran will be correct. But if you can't pronounce a particular letter or you have difficulty in doing so, then you need to put effort into learning it. And again, that's just our duty, our responsibility as Muslims, that we need to make sure that we put our best effort with regards to learning the Quran. When it comes to reading it, anything related to the Quran, we should always put our best effort, because at the end of the day, we need to remind ourselves that this is the book of Allah, and really, when we think about it, we are kind of undeserving of such a high thing that we've got it in front of us. We need to make sure that we respect it with the respect it deserves, and part of that respect is putting your best efforts towards learning it and putting your best efforts towards reading it. So just something to keep in mind, that learning tajweed, you're doing such a huge thing. It's a huge task that you guys are doing. So make sure that you do keep up that that strong effort, inshallah, and inshallah you will be rewarded. Brother Saeed, do you have a question?
Yeah, could you just repeat the ayn again for me, please?
Ayn, inshallah, no worries. So the ayn will be an, 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 in, in, rin, run, run, run. Okay. So does anyone have any questions at the moment with Tanween or anything else about what we've just gone through today? If you're okay, a 1. If you've got a question or anything, just a 5. So this is the last lesson of the week. So inshallah, after today's class, we'll have a very, very solid foundation, and you'll be able to practice a lot over the weekend, inshallah. Also, again, with the homeworks, I did say that by Friday, inshallah, whoever has sent me a homework before Friday, so if you send it, tonight as well, I will definitely respond to you by Friday, inshallah. So meaning on Friday, you will definitely get a response to whatever homeworks you have sent to me during this week. I'll definitely respond to you on Friday. I've done a lot of work today, so inshallah tomorrow I'll be a little bit more free. So I'll make sure that I dedicate time to just giving everyone feedback, inshallah, on Friday. And if you send me homework on Friday and Saturday, inshallah, then I will definitely respond to you by Sunday, inshallah. So just a little note on the homeworks. Now, we've got about 18 minutes left. So inshallah, what we can do is just get a little bit of some quick practicing with the Tanween. So I'll do a few, and then inshallah, if anyone wants to read some, then inshallah, I'll call you. So I'll just do 1 or 2. So again, we want to make sure that we go through everything. So just identify all the rules that you can see. If there aren't any rules, then you don't need to identify anything, but just make sure that you're going through the steps, you're continuing with the method. And a part of the method is to identify any difficult letters. So if you struggle on any letter, then make sure you put a star underneath it. Okay. So I'll just do this word here. So this is going to be R, J, Raja, Ban, Ajaban. Okay. I'll do this one as well, just underneath it. So again, not much in terms of the rules at the moment, just this stretch letter on the ba. So wa, na, wa na, ba, wa na ba, tan, wa na ba tan. And if you look carefully, the tanween will always be at the end. It's not going to be on the beginning or the middle. The tanween will always be at the end of a word. Okay, just something to keep in mind. So who would like to read? Just put your hand up, inshallah, and then I'll call you. Brother Amman.
Yeah.
Try reading. Read this one, inshallah.
There's one heavy letter, sword.
Yep.
There's a joining mu.
Yep.
And that. Do I say that's a rule when it says done at the end?
No, it's not a rule. It's just a vowel now. So we don't need to really identify or anything.
Okay. Mu so de done.
MashaAllah, that was good. Just one thing with regards to the method. You want to say each one individually and then go back to the beginning. So after mu, say sa by itself and then say mu sa. And then say da by itself and then say mu sa da. So try again.
Okay. Mu so.
So not mu sa, just sa.
Okay. Mu so de done. Mu so de done.
So what you kind of did is you kind of stretched the sa a little bit. So try again.
Mu so de مؤصدة مؤصدة.
MashaAllah, that was very, very good. Try this one here.
There's no heavy letters. There's I think noon before ya sakin in the middle. Is it that?
The kasra before ya sakin. Yeah, very, very good.
Ha di thin hadithin.
So you kind of stretch the ha a little bit. You kind of said hadithin like that. So read the whole word again, but just without the stretch on the ha.
Hadithin.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah, fantastic. Jazakallah khair, brother.
No problem.
Brother Shahriya,
Yes.
try doing this one here.
Oh, with the Saad. Cool. Okay. Right. So that's the heavy letter Saad.
Yep.
And yeah, we're gonna stretch it because it's got I forgot the name of it.
Yeah, the standing fatha.
Standing fatha.
Kharazabur, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. And then okay. Saw li han salihan.
MashaAllah, that was good. Try to just make the han a bit more clear. So salihan, like that.
Salihan.
MashaAllah, that's fantastic. We'll do one more, inshallah. Try doing do this one here.
Okay. So there's a what's it called? It's not a fatha, it's the zer, it's the before the ya. Forgot the name.
Kasra before ya sakin.
Kasra before ya sakin, that's it. Okay. That's and then that's it. There's no heavy letters.
Are there any letters you find difficult here?
I think ayn.
You find ayn a bit difficult? So if you find it, we'll just mark it with a little star, yeah?
Yeah.
Begin.
Okay. Zun. Azizun. No, let me stretch it a bit. Azizun.
MashaAllah, fantastic. That was really good. And I like how you caught your own mistake and you just repeated it. Jazakallah khair. That was fantastic.
Thank you, brother.
Brother Jifri?
Yes, brother. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Try doing this one here.
Yeah. There is one heavy letter.
Yep.
Sod.
Yep.
And ra as well. Ra.
Ra is also heavy. Yep.
Ra is a heavy letter. And there is one joining letter. Soy.
Yep. So it won't be soy.
Not joining. It's stretch. Normally stretch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stretch. Yeah. Basirun.
Try to that was good. Just the sad was not as heavy as it could be. So try to say just the sad. Forget the rest of the word. We're just gonna think about the sad now. Try and say sli. Again, a bit more pressure. Sli. One more time. Listen carefully. Sli. Yeah, we want to get that roundness. So now try basirun.
Yeah, basirun.
Yeah. So inshallah, try to work on the letter Sad. We'll mark it as a little difficult letter, inshallah, as well for you, my brother. So inshallah, whenever you do Sad, just keep in mind as much pressure as you can, inshallah. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem.
Try do this one.
Yeah. there's two heavy letters, Qaf and Ra.
Yep.
And it's a joining letter, Rai, Ra and Ya.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it. And Ku, Rai, Kurai, Sin. Sin. Kurai, Sin.
So that's a shin.
Kurai, Sin.
That's a shin, not tha. So shin.
Yeah, Kurai, Shin.
MashaAllah, good. Try to make the ra a bit more round. So rai, y instead of saying rai. So urai shin. Try that
Kurai, Shin.
again, a bit more round. Urai shin.
Kurai, Shin.
MashaAllah. Jazakallah khair, brother.
No problem. Jazakallah.
Brother Said.
Yeah. Yeah.
Try this word over here.
Okay. Heavy letters would be the Ra.
Yep.
And the, let me get this right. The Dod.
Fantastic.
Next is the join letters would be the first two. And would you say the next two as well?
Yeah, they kind of joined. But
Okay,
it's a special kind of one. It's a rule.
that's fine. And the color, no. After that, what is the stretch letters? Yep, that stretch
Yep.
letter. Difficult one would be probably the Dod.
Okay.
Okay, ready. Math, rule, math, rule, dawn, math, rule, dawn.
So you want to avoid the stretch on the da. So don't say don, but just say don like that.
Okay. Math, rule, dawn, math, rule, dawn.
Good. I noticed there was a little bit of a pause between ru and don. So try just say like this. Mafrudan.
Mafrudan.
MashaAllah, much better. Jazakallah khair, brother. Do you want to do one more?
Yeah.
Difficult one. Try this one.
Okay, heavy letter is Qaf.
Yep.
And that. Okay, what's next is the joining. Joining is the first two. And the Qaf with the alif. And that's the stretch as well.
Yep. So
Okay.
we won't say these are joined. We'll just say it's fatha before alif, yeah? So it's not really joined.
Yeah. What else is there? Difficult letter probably be the last letter is off.
Yep.
Okay. I got done. I got done.
MashaAllah. Fantastic. That was really good. Jazakallah khair, brother. Brother Hamid.
Naam.
Try doing this word, inshallah.
The dha is a heavy letter.
Yep.
The fa duma while sukoon is going to be a stretch.
Yep.
And the meme and ha are joining.
Yep.
All right. Mah fu mahfudhin. Mahfudhin.
MashaAllah, that's fantastic. Really good. Try doing this one.
Subhanallah. Oh, okay. Okay, the ra is going to be a heavy letter.
Yep.
The qaf is going to also be a heavy letter.
Yep.
The waw fatha alif is going to be stretched.
So look carefully. There's a hamza underneath this.
Okay, I see. Tricky. Okay. The hamza and the sin are joined.
Yep.
the ta and the ba are going to be joined.
Yep.
And I think that's it.
There's one more thing.
Let me see. Oh, خلق ولا on the ba.
Fantastic. Very good.
Okay. Is tab is tab ra is tab ra قن وإستبرقون وإستبرقون.
MashaAllah, fantastic. That was really, really well done, brother. Jazakallah khair. And last but certainly not least, brother Adam.
Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You okay, brother?
Yes.
Try doing this word over here. It's quite a tricky one. Identify all the rules that you can see.
Is the qaf a heavy letter?
Yes.
Meme is a empty mouth letter.
Yep.
Is the ya an empty mouth letter as well?
Yep.
The tha is an empty mouth.
Yes.
And waw is empty mouth.
Yes.
Okay. Taka.
So what are the rules are there?
Oh.
There are two more.
The and the qaf are joined. And
Yep.
the waw and the ya are joined as well.
So what will happen when we join these two?
We're
We're gonna do something with the waw on the kasra.
We're gonna talk.
So what's gonna happen with the? I'll just give you a little key. So we've gone through heavy letters or full mouth, empty mouth letters. Done all the joinings. There are two more things. We need to go through stretch letters and we need to go through qalqala. So are there any qalqalas here?
Yeah, the qaf.
Oh, fantastic. And are there any stretch letters?
Yeah.
Which one?
Yeah.
The ya.
Yeah.
So we're going to stretch the ya.
No, meme.
The meme will be stretched. Why will the meme be stretched?
Because it has a. Is it because it has a tanween?
Min. So this will not be stretched. There's a different letter. It will be stretched. I'll give you a clue. It's a kasra before ya sakin. That's the clue.
So it's a wow.
The waw will be stretched. Yeah. That was very, very good. So begin.
Taka we min.
MashaAllah. Now, brother Adam, the reason why we need to identify the rule is it's going to help us learn it better. And inshallah, one day when you're older, if you know the rules very, very well, then you'll be able to, inshallah, teach someone else. So that's why we want to get very, very familiar with all these rules and these technical things, because I know you can read this word very well, and you can probably read a lot of these words well. But learning the rules is going to be very, very helpful for you in the future, inshallah. If you want to ever teach Quran, it's going to be a very, very good thing for you, inshallah. Yeah. Jazakallah khair, brother. Okay. So we've got about 5 minutes left. So inshallah, what I'll do is just mention a few things. Homework up to page 59. So the practice for the tanween, there aren't much. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages of tanween. But if you go a bit upwards on this booklet, there are a lot of practices for the stretch letters. There's a lot of words and things you can practice. So over the weekend, practice as much as you can. The more you practice, the better the more you'll improve. So you've got a lot of words that you can practice. So it's not just 55 to 59, but if there's, a few words that you want to practice from here with regards to the stretch letters, then that's something that you'll be able to do, inshallah. So practice up to page 59. and then send me voice notes, inshallah, of words that you've practiced. Ongoing homework, as always, is work on your letter pronunciations, the letters you have difficulty with. Work on those letters. So number one, up to page 59. Number two, spend 10 or 15 minutes at least on each letter you have difficulty with. So if there are 3 letters you have difficulty with, then you need to spend at least half an hour just practicing letters. Because like I mentioned earlier, the 80% of Tajweed is just getting the letter pronunciations correct. If you have that down, then everything else will come easy. Now, next week is going to be quite intense. We're going to be going through a lot of rules. So it's very, very important. I can't overstate how important it is to be as comfortable with the foundation as possible. But everything we've gone over in these 2 weeks are basically the foundation. Okay, we've gone over letter pronunciations, we've gone over vowels and things like that, and we've gone over a few small rules like heavy letters, stretch letters, things like that. Next week, there's going to be a lot of lots of technical rules. So it's important to be very comfortable and confident with the foundation going into next week. So I strongly advise everyone to revise as much as you can, practice as much as you can over the weekend. Okay, such thing as too much practice. The more you practice, the more confident you'll be, and then all the technical things. And I'm telling you, I said it last month, I'll say it again this month, but it is really, really quite hard. Especially towards the end of the week, we're going to go through a lot of technical things, theory kind of things. So it's going to be a lot of things to memorize, a lot of things to think about. So if you're not solid on your foundation, you will definitely struggle to incorporate these as well. Whereas if you are strong with your foundation, then these will be a lot more, it won't be as much of a burden to take these on as well and apply them, inshallah. So I strongly advise everyone to revise as much as you can over the weekend. Whoever has sent me a voice note this week, most likely I haven't responded because I've been really quite busy. Inshallah, tomorrow I will take time in the morning and probably in the afternoon just responding to voice notes. So do make sure you keep sending me voice notes if you haven't done your homework, or if you send it, please make sure you do send it. Send it over the weekend as well. If you send me by Saturday, if you send me any homework by Saturday, I will respond to it on Sunday, inshallah. So on Sunday, I will just take my time and go through whoever has sent me homeworks before Saturday. So that's that. And just another reminder for myself, everyone here, is we're halfway through, alhamdulillah. Just keep in mind that we need to keep our intentions sincere, that we are learning for the sake of Allah. Learning Quran is for the sake of Allah, it's for the pleasure of Allah. We want to attain closeness to Him. And this is a reminder I give to all of my students, especially any student of the Quran needs to understand this, that the Quran is from Allah and one can only learn it through the help of Allah. You can't learn Quran without the help of Allah, because the Quran itself is from Allah. So if you want to learn the Quran and you want to be someone who is able to read the Quran, then you need to, and I'm saying this to myself first and foremost, not to you guys, but I say to myself that we need to make sure that we do things to please Allah, and we need to make sure that we avoid things that displease Him. So this is to myself first and foremost, and then to everyone else, that if we have bad habits, or if we do something that's wrong, or if we are engaged in some kind of sin that is wrong, something that is going to displease Allah, then we need to think about that, reflect on that, and try to change our habits, and increase our good deeds, increase the good things that we do. And in doing so, we will attain Allah's pleasure, we will become closer to Him. And when we become closer to Him, it will be much, much, much more easier for the Quran to enter our hearts, inshallah. So that's just something I want to leave you guys with over the weekend, that learning Quran is the purpose is to attain closeness to Allah. And if we want to do our best, we need to keep in mind that all of our actions outside of Quran, all of our actions will have an impact in our ability to learn. and in my ability to teach as well. So, if we want to be, effective students, effective learners, then we need to keep in mind all of our actions that we do during the day. It is going to definitely have an impact. So just keep that in mind, inshallah, over the weekend as well. So I'll see everyone on Monday. I'll respond to voice notes tomorrow, and inshallah, hope everyone has a good weekend. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.